never know. My lady, you know me, no fi give up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward and far, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma not be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. Rara, rara. I say nobody feel make me feel the way you do. Rara, rara. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. 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 My lady, you know me, no fi give up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward and far, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check I know. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. They never know. They never know. Without you, baby, the journey go too rough. So you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma not be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. Rara, rara. I say nobody feel make me feel the way you do. Rara, rara. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check I know.
Check. 1, 2. Hi, everybody. There we go. Welcome. We're back on the Hohner YouTube channel here on a Tuesday evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Germany. And this is episode 125 of the Hohner Live. Thank you for tuning in. say hi in the chat. Let us know from where you're tuning in. And as always, you're very welcome to ask questions today. On this special episode, this is the last one for 2024. And I'm in a Christmas mood. I don't know about our guest, so let's ask him. Please welcome with me, renowned harmonica player, but very, you are familiar with many different other instruments too. Band leader, and you're in Eugene, Oregon, is that right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hank Shreve, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Hey, thank you for having me. I've been a big fan of the podcast for quite some time now, and you're quite the great player yourself, sir, might I add. So it's good to be in your company, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's getting harder to get better, you know?
Oh, always, yes. But that's what keeps us inspired and keeps us practicing, you know? Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, so what's the time at your place right now?
Oh, it's just afternoon. So I'm, about 9 hours before you, ahead of you. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you usually do at this time if you're not doing a live stream?
Yeah, well, usually I'm practicing or I'm trying to book gigs or working on posters for a gig or so. And that's usually what I do when I'm not like on stage performing. I'm doing something musical, whether that be teaching or practicing or just or learning new songs. That's what I do with my time, is all music. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's really not just about playing the instrument, being a musician.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's true. A lot of people kind of have that misconception that okay, you're a musician, you get to just go have fun all the time. And it's like, well, part of that is true, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. And you got to get creative sometimes. And teaching, giving lessons is a good thing, in that regard. It kind of, helps keep your chops up, but it also keeps you busy musically too. So I'm sure you know that.
Yeah. What's like your favorite part of everything though? Like, is it playing live or like getting the response from the audience, or do you also find like as much joy in teaching or practicing?
It's kind of both. I mean, I started as a live performer, so that kind of came first. Teaching kind of came a little bit later, but over the years I've discovered that I really love to teach, and so it's kind of equal for me. I really like to play live and get the audience reaction like you're saying, but teaching is really special. Like I tell a lot of people, my favorite moment in teaching is when you see the light bulb go off in the student's eyes. You say,
Yeah.
oh, you show them something and they go like, oh, I get it. And that feeling is just awesome. I just live for that feeling, so.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think I felt that today.
Hey, good. Yeah.
Like,
how many students did you have today?
Just 3. Yeah.
Nice. That's a perfect amount. Yep. When
Yeah,
you start
like
getting into
like,
8 or 9,
I feel like 4 in a row, that's a lot already. If it's like 4 hours and like all of them are whatever, 45 minutes.
Yep,
like,
that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But still, yeah, I had a student and he's like trying to figure out how to improvise and what improvisation like actually is and how to think while doing that, and how to kind of like systematically approach it to get a feel for what it could be. That was like kind of like the goal. And yeah, I think some things started to make sense today when we constructed some things and he was like, oh yeah, this sounds really good. This sounds like an improvisation, like.
Yeah. That's a hard thing to teach someone, is how to improvise, because and it's the same with other fields too, not just music, like acting and comedy. I always liken those to music improvising a lot, because they're really the kind of the same, it's the same set of muscles and, nerves you're using, so, and it's also really hard to teach somebody. You just kind of have to do it, do it until, and make all the mistakes and fail. And then pretty soon you stop not failing,
Yeah, mistakes are the best, and they just show you like what you got to work on.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So I read that you started to play harmonica at the age of 8. Is that true?
That's correct. Yes. Hmm.
That's very early. That's like 5 years earlier than I did.
Hey, cool. Hey, got to get started young,
So like, how did that happen? Like at the age of 8, like how did you get in touch with the instrument then? Because like I feel with the harmonica it's like so weird. Because like you don't get in touch with the instrument at music school or whatever. It's more like an accident for everybody.
Yeah, it kind of was for me too, to be honest with you. I mean, both my parents are musical. My dad is a multi-instrumentalist. Harmonica is not one of them though.
Yeah.
But he actually plays bass in my band currently. My dad does. And so my mom and dad in their band, they were having a rehearsal, and they called over a family friend. His name is Dino, and he brought over his set of harmonicas. And I'd always liked the sound of a harmonica. I think I heard it like, on a TV show or a commercial or movie or something. And I was like, I like that sound. So when I heard it in person, the harmonica, I was just like, wow. Like I couldn't believe that such a big sound could come out of a little tiny instrument. So, and that was it basically.
That's like what everybody says after a concert, right?
Yep, exactly. I didn't know it could do that. Yeah. But that was how it was for me, and so I picked it up and I just kind of started I knew how to bend a note right away. It was the weirdest thing. And I think because like I would watch him play and I could kind of tell like, okay, he's breathing in there, looks like he's blowing out, and I just kind of guessed. And so that's how it got started, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah. Yeah. But how would you say did your influences then like grow and evolve as you grow older? Yeah. What was it in the beginning? What was the music you listened to back then? And like, did that change a lot?
Yeah. I mean, yes to all of that. But I remember the first thing that I did was remember my parents had this closet where they kept, it was video cassette tapes back in the day. That's probably before your time. But they kept tape cassettes in there too. And so I remember going through there and just going through all the album liner notes and just looking to see which albums had harmonica on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like Huey Lewis and the News, Bonnie Raitt, Debbie Davies, Richard Marx. Like there was some pop albums that had harmonica. I just listened to all the stuff that had harmonica on it. And then eventually I was given a mixtape. That's another thing before your time. But I was given a mixtape with William Clark, Norton Buffalo, Paul Butterfield, and Delbert McClinton. And that's kind of what what started me. And then years later, I started getting into Little Walter and, kind of like, the older school of the harmonica, Rice Miller, Sonny Boy 2, Big Walter. And so, and then that's when chromatic kind of came about, and that was like, a whole other field. And I still find it pretty fascinating, the chromatic. But anyway, I'm getting a little off topic here, but
yeah, but like that's cool. Mixtape. I mean, I feel like my first or maybe my second online harmonica teacher, he also gave me like a sort of a mixtape, like a big DVD with like just harmonica music on it.
Yeah.
I started off with Dennis Grunling and Jump Time, playing like low-tuned, amplified diatonic,
Yes. I love that sound. I think that is a really cool sound. And, because I love baritone saxophone.
Yeah.
And I think that is the closest a harmonica can sound to that instrument, I mean, like, I think it's really cool. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that other people are into that also.
Yeah, there's D Church in the chat. He says, I'd love to hear either one of you improvise any live blue style Christmas melody.
Okay.
Did you play like any Christmas songs or melodies yet this year?
There's one thing. Yeah, there's a... almost had it.
That's a bluesy one. That's very true. Yeah.
If you want to hear some good bluesy uh, harmonica Christmas music, check out Joe Falisco. That's all I gotta say. He does it like the best, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ever any live blues style Christmas melody? I really got to think about the blues style.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as bluesy
I'm
as
sure
you
you
can
got
get
something.
with Jingle Bells. There's like some sweeter bluesiness with Jingle Bell Rock. Um,
Oh,
I like to
I
play
like it. I
that
like it.
on like in 12th position. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the
Right on.
sweeter bluesiness
I gotta go. Bye. We'll see you.
with these double stops. That's nice.
Hmm.
And you got
I love
some
double
bends here.
stops.
You can get like
Nice.
some in between on the six or draw bands.
Hell yeah, yeah. So let me get this. So you were playing that on an A harp, right? So then
Yeah,
that was so you 12th position. So you're playing that in D major, right?
yeah.
Nice, great, very cool.
I don't remember if that's the original key, but
It can be.
yeah. Jingle Bells, Jingle Bell Rock, really good ones. I tried to play. Still want to do a recording of "I'll Be Home for Christmas,"
Oh yeah,
but I
that's a good
wonder if I got time for that.
one.
Like tomorrow's my last day here, at the studio, basically. So
Oh, you
playing
going on
some
the road
playing
or?
some Christmas concerts. How about you? Are you playing any Christmas shows?
I've got one this Friday. It's kind of like a smaller kind of gig, but yeah. I'm fortunate though. I got Christmas off this year, so I'm happy about that. You know. But
Yeah.
you said you got some Christmas shows coming up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because we put out
Nice.
a Christmas CD, so it makes
Mm,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. Right on. When did that come out?
Like a month ago.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll check that out. I'll check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we recorded Jingle Bells too.
Oh, good. Nice.
So I read like kind of inspired by your father. You also play like several different instruments. And you
I
got
do. Yeah.
the guitars in the back, and you got the keyboard next to you.
Hmm.
So how did all that stuff, or still like, how do all these instruments inform your harmonica playing?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think learning other instruments really helps your harmonica playing. Just yeah, long explanation short. The let's see. Well, so okay, started with harmonica, and then the second instrument I played was drums. Actually, drums and percussion. And that started because I thought, well, okay, if I take up drums and percussion, I won't have to learn how to read music. But guess what?
Yeah,
You still have to learn how to read music.
yeah,
Yeah, so you start off on, they call it the bells, it's like a poor excuse for a xylophone. And it's so you start on that, then you move up to snare drum, and then eventually you get the choice to continue to concert band or jazz band. So I chose jazz band, and so I played drum set, and so I consider the drums my second instrument out of everything. And then right after that, that's when I kind of started picking up piano. And I'm not a classically trained piano player at all. I just kind of learned by ear. And most of the instruments that I've learned, I pretty much taught myself how to play. The only exception is drums. I took lessons for that one. But yeah, so then after piano came guitar, and then I got really serious about guitar for a while. I really wanted to be like a lead guitar player, but then I realized I was like, well, the harmonica is actually much cooler. So, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of how it happened, man. And then fairly recently, probably like in the last 10 years or so, I picked up lap steel and dobro.
Oh yeah.
I've always been interested in slide guitar, but I could never quite get the tone I was looking for. So I tried a dobro and then eventually a lap steel, and those kind of just stuck with me, And same kind of with the Hammond organ. Also, I just really became infatuated with the B3 sound and the Leslie, which I got one right there, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I fell in love with those sounds, and I really like the B3 because it's another instrument kind of closely related to the harmonica in a strange way, because the pipe organ, it's like it's kind of in the same family. But anyway, that's my that's and I'm still working on stuff, and I can't play any horns or any brass instruments. I wish I could, but at this point in my harmonica career, I'm worried that if I take up one of those instruments, it might mess my embouchure up a little too much. So, but anyway, how about you? You play other instruments too, right?
Well, I would say that I play piano, which is the first
Oh.
instrument I started out on, and
Mhm.
I taught myself to play some guitar, like basic stuff, just to not having to ask like a guitarist every single time I want to include guitar in some of my productions,
Mhm.
And besides that, I also had like years of playing the clarinet. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yep, that's what I remember. I remember you playing some wind instrument of some sort. So that's cool.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
I hadn't done that in a while. And like the strange thing was also like you get these lessons as a child, and then you have the sheet music in front of you, and you just play what's written there, and you don't know how to improvise, and you
Mhm.
don't even know what kind of style of music that is you got in front of you, It's just like
Yeah.
you're playing the notes, and then like it started out classically, and then maybe it kind of went into a more jazzy direction, but I didn't even know. Like the teacher didn't tell me what it is,
Yeah.
which is super sad. And then, yeah, it was also like never about like discovering or trying stuff out with the instrument, like in terms of
Mhm.
expression.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
also kind of disappointing because like only afterwards when I played harmonica, I took the clarinet back out and started to fool around like I would do on the diatonic harmonicas. Like there aren't too many rules. And then I discovered, oh, I can do a vibrato like this on the clarinet. Like nobody ever showed me.
Mm. Yeah, no. I had a similar kind of thing with piano lessons too. Like I took a couple. I know I said I taught everything myself, but I did take a couple here and there, and I had a similar thing. It was just like, why don't they tell you some of this stuff?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same with like, boogie woogie and like, learning piano. It's like there's some people that really embrace, some piano teachers that really embrace, the boogie woogie style. And then there's some that are like, oh, no, that's sacrilegious, or that's devil's music, but it's like, well, it's really awesome though. I mean, and it's also historically very important, because it's like we have, baroque music, classical music, baroque music, ragtime, and then boogie woogie, which then also was a big factor in rock and roll, so it's, I don't know. I was same with you. I'm with you on that. It's like I always wondered why certain teachers didn't teach that, you
Yeah.
know.
But like what would you say like nowadays? How can we get more young people into the instrument? Like, cause still it's like the harmonica is like not being heard on the radio too often. Like you can't see it on TV. Like
Mhm.
all that stuff. Like if there's like any additional instruments in a band, like in a touring band, it starts out with either strings or brass section, and it's like no harmonica.
Mhm.
Like, how does it happen? How does somebody get into it nowadays?
That's a great question. Yeah, and very carefully. But no, I think it has to do with live performance. Mainly, it's like that's why it's also important to if you're in a band. Uh, Try not to just play nightclubs. It's good. That's where a lot of the work is, but try to book, some of the like, music in the parks and like, just like different kind of concerts where you can get all ages.
Yeah.
I think that definitely helps, and I think, some bands kind of like they only focus on certain venues, which is understandable, but that's my answer to that is just like, try to play more kind of all ages events where younger audiences can see you and kind of go, oh wow, that I think I want to play harmonica now.
All
So,
right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes
but
sense because that was also the thing that brought me to the clarinet because like there was like a show in like Dixieland open air concert, you know.
yeah, that's cool. I remember there was this one Dixieland band that used to play at our school every once in a while. They're called Calamity Jazz or something like that, but I always thought it was one of the coolest sounds. I remember some of the other kids in the jazz class didn't quite go for it. They're like, "Oh, this sounds a little too, old timey." And I'm like, "I think it sounds awesome. That's why I like it." But I don't know. Maybe sometimes I think I was born like 30 years too late or something. But
Yeah. How about like an online approach of getting young people interested in the instrument?
yeah, thank you. I was going to say that too. Yeah, that's the other thing that works the best too is YouTube and TikTok and all this stuff. It's like that's going to work, especially like TikTok seems to be the best as far as like reaching, the younger audiences. I don't do TikTok. I probably should, but
Yeah.
um I'm just not a big social media person. I know I should be. I know I'm shooting myself in the foot with that, but I just I don't know. I get frustrated by a lot of social media stuff, but anyway.
Yeah, right. Teacher asks, where can we get your Christmas CD? Is a signed copy available somehow? USA? Send me a message. Yeah. I mean, it should be on Amazon too and stuff. Uh, you're also writing songs.
Correct.
And how, like, can you walk us through your creative process when composing new material for the band?
Sure. Yeah, I have a couple of approaches. One is sometimes I'll just write the music part first. So come up with a cool chord progression. Usually it's 12 bar blues based, meaning, it's 12 bar blues, but, I like to kind of change the chord progression a little bit, change the turnaround if I need to, or any of these things. Because I've always loved 12 bar blues, but I've always really liked different 12 bar blues progressions, and so that's kind of where I go to. So, anyway, I try to start with like just writing the music and the changes first, and then let the lyrics kind of come a little later. But sometimes the lyrics come first.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what gets you for, and then so I'll just kind of, I'll go with that. So those are my two approaches is like, first try to just get the music part down. And I found that tends to work for me a little better. Just because then you already have a template to work off of. And then the problem with writing only lyrics first is that you don't get a clear idea of, syllables and, how things are going to lay out rhythmically. Like you might have a really cool word. You're like, oh, I really like this word in here. But then you try to sing it and it doesn't flow, so that's the one problem you run into when you're writing lyrics. I'm sure all of us have experienced that at some point, but so that's kind of what I do. The other thing I find that's important too is just jamming, whether that be by yourself with jam tracks or solo by yourself or with a group of musicians, a band or whatever.
Yeah.
I think jamming is very important for that because it's you never know what you can come up with when you improvise, and sometimes you come up with your best stuff, so that's how I do it, I'm still working on it though, and if anybody out there has any advice on writing songs, drop it in the chat, please. But do you write songs much?
Well, I never really wrote lyrics. I wish I would be good at that, you know?
Hmm.
So for me, it was just like this regular thing of being like a jazz musician and then writing your own pieces, which is like very usual, you know?
Hmm.
So that's just most of the time is like this lead sheet kind of thing, you know? You write like melodies and chords, and then it's just like a jazz quartet setting.
Hmm. Hey,
Um,
those are cool though. I mean, I love instrumental music, and I think instrumental music is every bit as important as lyrical music. So,
yeah, yeah. And besides
yeah.
that, I mean, I really got into music production and like pop music, and then you just need other people to write lyrics, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's usually the way it is. But
Hmm.
I'm not sure. It would be cool to write lyrics, and it's just like you just got to do it, right? And
That's it. Yeah, I just got to
start
do
out
it. And you
writing stuff down.
writing stuff. Yeah, and also keeping a little tape recorder handy, or on your cell phone, however you want to do it. That's really handy because I mean, I'm sure you have too, but I've had, riffs or ideas come to me when I'm out walking or driving, doing the dishes or whatever, and then sometimes I'll think I'll have such a good idea that I'll be like, oh, I'll remember that. I'm not going to forget
Yeah, of
that, but
course.
guess what? I forget it. So yeah, definitely yeah, always record. Those of you listening out there, yeah, always record what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to just start out doing stuff. I remember there's this bassist Thundercat. Um, Many jazz musicians are influenced by him, and I think I found out about him very early on. And he started out singing at some point, and he sounded terrible. Like he couldn't sing, and like always like this high pitched voice, but he did it live. I mean, he's like a monster bassist, and he just started out to sing like live these videos on YouTube. Like it was terrible. It didn't sound good at all. Like kind of like yeah, but still, like he just continued doing it, and now he sounds really good. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I had the same thing with my voice, in fact, and I'm still working on it. For the first time ever, I'm like actually comfortable singing. I've never been 100% comfortable singing. Um, because like the reasons you said, it's like it takes a lot of practice, and some people are gifted with beautiful voices. I kind of hate those people. But
yeah,
like there's some people that just like, when they're like 6 years old, they could sing beautifully, with perfect pitch and vibrato and everything. But most of us have to work for that. So, but yeah, the more, and like you say, the more you do it, the more you learn about your voice and how to manage it. What your singing keys are. We all have our favorite keys.
right, yeah,
Harp players do too. I know you probably have your favorite harp keys, as do I. But it's the same with singing. You find which keys really work good for your voice and what don't. Also, how to space out the songs. That's an important one. Like, you don't want to do too many songs like in the same range. Not necessarily the same key, but like, in the same range,
yeah,
because you'll tire your voice out. And also it's not it's important to keep it as a variety, for the listener too. You don't want to be just screaming the whole time. But yeah, singing is hard.
So, how did you find your bandmates? And do you have like any advice on people out there looking for musicians to play with?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Once again, jamming. Jamming is really the best way. Going to open mics or jam
Yeah,
sessions. Yeah, because you never know who's going to be there. And I've told this story on other places many times, but one time I was playing the show in San Francisco, and there was like 4 people in the crowd, and it was kind of like, okay, but later on, somebody came up, they're like, oh, do you know who was here tonight? And I was like, no. And they're like, oh, Charlie Musselwhite was here watching. I was like,
yeah,
really? Like, wow, cool. And so you just really never know who's going to be there. And even at jams too. Also, like, going to jams, you could actually get gigs by going to there too. It's happened. Like I've had people come up and they say, "Oh, well, do you have a band? I got a private party I do at the end of the month, and so it's like that's also a good way to do it too. But yeah, going to jams and checking Craigslist is a good one. I'm sure you don't have Craigslist where you come from, but
Yeah.
yeah, those all those little things are good. But jamming is really the best way, I'd say. So also like my dad is in my band, so that's I've got kind of an unfair advantage there. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay. How about let's get back to teaching harmonica. Like, do you have like any core principles that you like to emphasize when teaching?
Oh yeah, lots. Main ones though, I try to get the student just to play first. And when I first started teaching, I was like, I would give, probably, too much information first to be like, okay, well, if this is
Oh yeah.
called suckering, this is called this is called tongue blocking, this is this, and oh, you could do it this way, or you could do it. But it's like my approach now is just to get you playing something. And even if it doesn't sound very pretty or very polished, it's like I just try to, even if it's the C major scale, just get them playing something. And the other thing too, I've learned as a teacher, I was talking to Tomlin about this a while ago. In fact, you know, uh, as much as I want my students to know about Little Walter or any famous harmonica player, you probably don't want to start them with that right away. You probably want to introduce that a little later on. So like I found like certain players, like Jimmy Reed is a great example. Classic harp player, very influential, but and not a technical wizard on the harmonica. But it didn't really matter because what he played always served the song. And so yeah, I always try to get people started on Jimmy Reed, even if he wasn't my favorite harmonica player when I first started. So yeah, just little things like that. And I'm also a big advocate for music theory and music fundamentals.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's another thing. Yeah, it's another thing I try to be careful with, though. I don't. If I sense that a student is not really interested in that, then I won't try to, I won't try to force that on them. Because some students are really interested in that, some aren't, and I understand that. I get that, but I also do believe that you can learn the fundamentals and you can learn the basics of theory. I think anybody can. Just a lot of people have resistance to it. It's like they're like, oh, well, I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn scales, and I'm like, well, you're probably already playing them. Also, they're built into the instrument, so yeah, it's kind of hard to avoid these things. But anyway, that's my approach for teaching. And I'm still learning how to teach. Still working on that. So, how about you?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. You can always like learn a lot while teaching
Hmm.
yourself. And
Definitely,
like it
yeah.
really makes sense to start out teaching very early on. I mean, you always remind yourself of the basics,
Hmm.
which will always help. Like, no matter how advanced you are as a player,
Yes.
and you will also get like better at like explaining all that stuff to people with every
Hmm.
single lesson.
Yeah, it's true. It makes you a better communicator, and it makes you helps you to be a little bit more organized. And two of those things I'm not great at, communicating or being organized. But teaching has really helped me in that regard. And I'm still, getting more organized and trying to get a little better at those things as I do more of it. I got a question for you.
Hmm.
What do you tell a student when they say, I want to play faster?
Oh,
What do you
okay.
say?
Oh, I usually start out with there are many ways of playing fast on harmonica. So like there are really like kind of different approaches. I mean, there's you could also relate them to a few players, kind of like like John Popper is playing fast. There's like a different way of playing fast compared to Howard Levy.
Hmm.
That's like a different way of playing fast than Jason Ritchie. I mean, So that's like a first thing. That really doesn't help the student at all, though, you know. But
I like the answer though. I like what you're saying so far though. So
yeah, like that. That's just like something I have in my mind, and then it's more like for me. It's always like about the strengths of the instrument and things that just like are easy to play fast. That's what I'm gonna start out with, and that's just like stuff like sliding around on the instrument.
yeah,
That's super easy to do, and it can be super fast. Like if you just, yeah, um, just put like different rhythms in there and do it like more systematically, the
hmm
sliding around on the instrument, you can get really good and impressive sounding stuff that isn't too hard at all. But it's
yeah,
like really about like being aware of like where these little strengths of the instrument are hidden and like the students don't know, you know? So you got to tell them.
yeah.
So that's like probably the first thing of playing fast. And then you got the other approaches of like fast playing could also be just playing very few notes very fast repeatedly kind of.
Yeah,
Or
I
just focusing on like this other aspect which is like more like popper inspired, um, but also is like a strength of the instrument already, which is just like focusing on the change of breathing directions and the rhythm of your breath instead of focusing on the notes. So it's really for the student about not thinking about the notes at all anymore and just focusing on like breathing patterns. And
yeah.
you could just start out practicing them systematically, and within those exercises you will find stuff and combinations that you like and can just implement into your playing or in several different keys, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
no, I
then I'm
like that.
like, oh yeah, this little combination, these three notes and this breathing pattern, this sounds really good, right? So you could use it in that key. Hear how it sounds. You could use it in that key. Hear how it sounds, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. And that's true. I mean, it goes that you can say that about guitar players too. It's like, okay, there's Stevie Ray Vaughan fast, and then there's Joe Satriani fast.
Yeah.
It's like which kind of fast are you going for? That's cool you say that because that's kind of what works for me too, is like I try to liken, like you were talking about breathing, I try to liken like drum beats to breathing.
Yeah.
Like see, it's like you said,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about the notes really. I'm thinking about the beat,
Yeah. I like that you pulled in put in this rolled R because like not many players are doing that.
Yeah, well, I've come to find out not everybody is physically able to do that, apparently. I don't know
Oh,
if it's a
okay.
genetic thing or whatever.
Oh, I
In
think you can
turn,
practice it.
I would hope so.
I wouldn't
Yeah, I
say
mean,
it's a genetic thing because like I was never able to do it, but I just practiced.
oh, you got it? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Good. That's cool. Because I've met some people, they're like, oh, I cannot get my tongue to do that. And I'm like, but the other one, like I'm unable to do it, but some people do like the fake version of it with the throat,
Yeah. I can't do that
yeah,
one. Yeah.
me either. It makes me gag. But I love the way Dennis uses that. Like he gets that little growly on there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Oh, there's a
But
question in the chat too. How does Hank get that dirty sound?
I don't know. Could be the microphone I'm playing through. I mean, it's like this isn't a very expensive microphone I'm using.
Yeah, we should talk about gear too. D Church also says, speaking of bandmates, I love the Shreve duo. Where and when was your first public performance with Pop?
Oh, that's a good. Let's see. Okay. I was 11 years old, and I'm 36 now, so you do the math. And then this place was called Shaker's Bar and Grill, and it was off of Main Street in Springfield, and it was outdoors. Because years later, it became Shakers, Topless Dancers. Uh, so like, what a great blues story, right? You know, my first gig that I ever play, years later, it becomes a strip club. So that was my first gig. It was not a strip club when I played it, though, just for all you people out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I started playing in their band, and then so on and so forth.
Right. Shane is in the chat too. Yeah. Hey, man.
Yo, hey brother, my brother from another mother, Shane.
What's like the weirdest venue you ever played at? Then.
Oh, oh man, there's a lot of them. I'll tell you one that sticks out. So this was back 6-7 years ago when the solar eclipse was a big thing here in the States.
Yeah.
You know, we got this gig and we were supposed to play. It was an eclipse viewing party. So it was like there was about 8 bands. It was something ridiculous, you know, and thousands of people. And so we had to get there at 6 a.m, and it was a 2-hour drive. So we had to get up really early, and we get there, and then we had to wait another 5-6 hours to actually play. And so this was after all the, you know, the eclipse is said and done. Right as we're putting our stuff on stage, the whole crowd of thousands of people is leaving. Because they'd seen the eclipse and they were like, okay, you know, everybody just leaving. It was like, oh, okay. So we're playing to people walking away. It was like, and get this, so that was at noon. Our set was at noon, and then bands were still lined up until 10 o'clock at night. So I'm sure they probably had to cancel the whole thing early because everybody left.
Yeah.
So that was the one that sticks out most in my mind. There's been other ones. There's one that involved a bar fight.
Yeah.
That I won't go into that one, but I didn't get hurt. Nobody got hurt, but you know, it was one of those things where, you know, some drunkard got a little unruly and had to be asked to leave. These things happen sometimes, you know. But how about you? What's your do you have a gig from hell story or a strange venue?
Not really from hell. I don't know. I mean, that's like kind of regular. I played like a duo concert with a pianist when we played like more of like fusion jazz, but we were booked like at a blues festival sort of. So like, a lot of people left during the break. I mean, they just expected something different, you know. But otherwise, like, it was always like a lot of fun. Like back when I lived in Cologne, like over 5 years ago, we had like a live techno band I was playing in.
Cool.
So there was like, I don't know, the drummer was like really into techno music, and like Cologne has like a techno scene and stuff. And like they also not only got the clubs, but also like a lot of outdoor raves that are like kind of illegal in the middle of the woods, you know? And you get the location online, whatever, and then
it's like a speakeasy, yeah.
and there's like just like so many people out there. Like you're playing in front of a lot of people. Like, so we were just playing techno in this band setting. It was drums, bass, trumpet, and harmonica. So we didn't really have a chordal instrument. That was like kind of the chordal instrument, using effect pedals and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And the harmonizer and all that stuff. And there was always just a lot of fun. Obviously, we played like in weird spaces outdoors, but still, like, it felt better than playing in front of 3 people in a jazz club. And we were still improvising. Like, we didn't have any songs. It was like completely improvised, and usually like in front of us, like DJs were playing, and after us too. And we were just like a live act kind of. And then you're playing in front of 300 people in the woods, which is better than the jazz club kind of, you know.
Yeah. That sounds kind of fun, actually. Yeah. Even for a blues guy, that sounds pretty fun. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are there like any success stories from your students that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, I've got several of those. One of them's right here in the chat, actually. He wasn't really a student of mine per se, but Shane, I met Shane in New Orleans back in 2018, I think it was, and it was part of Jason and Winslow's harmonica collective. And that was like my first, big, like a big experience doing a teaching harmonica gig kind of thing, So anyway, doing my class, and I see like there's this young guy, this young harp player, and it's like young harmonica players are not common.
Yeah.
So when you kind of see each other, it's like, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, you do this too, So anyway, I see Shane, and I was like, hey, cool, right on, man, And then later I heard him play, and then I was like, well, so why are you taking my class exactly? So and then 2 or 3 years later, he gets the gig with Sting, and it was like that was really cool. And then I actually got to go see that show, Shane with Sting, and it was fantastic. I mean, he completely nailed the Stevie Wonder vibe, but he also put his own vibe in there too. And there was a couple of times where it was like there was a little bit of Paul DeLay influence, and then on Fields of Gold, he sounded a lot like Norton Buffalo, and it was like, but all in all, he sounded like him. So like that was very cool. And
Yeah.
I've had several other students too, where it's like they start off a certain way and then they keep going. Let's see. Greg McManus from Salem. He's another guy who like he always was good, but then he kind of he just kept at it, kept at it, and he's I think he's as good as the other harp players in the state, so it's pretty cool. But I love all of my students though, and regardless of experience or age or whatever, I just I like working with everybody, so
Yeah, that's wonderful.
there's been a couple of stinkers, but not too many of those, luckily. Mostly positive. I'm sure you've had a couple of rough lessons too. I mean,
Of course.
they
Yeah.
happen. So, but anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for that.
I think people out there always love to talk about gear and stuff. So, like, what's like your favorite harmonica model? Like, what do you prefer to play nowadays?
Yeah, well, I'm a Hohner guy, and I'm sponsored by Hohner. I love Hohner. My two favorites are the crossover, and I really like the Rocket. But I also really like the Marine Band Deluxe,
Yeah.
and I've got a couple of custom combed Rockets, and also
Oh, okay.
a couple crossovers. Yeah, so I use custom combs for some things. I'm kind of one of those people though, like if the harp sounds and plays really good, I won't do anything to it, but like as far as custom combs go, I think I like them for lower keys, for anything lower than a low F. I kind of like the way the metal, like a metal comb, kind of brightens up the reeds a little bit. Yeah, but I also I've got a couple of big river harps, believe it or not, that I still use.
Yeah.
And because every once in a while you get a good one. They're usually a little breathy, but they're really good. I also, as far as chromatics go, I like the Super 64. This one, yeah, it's a little dirty, but I like that one a lot, and I like the CX12. Those work for me. And yeah, I've got some other weird ones. Oh yeah, I was showing you. I got one of these recently too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very good for beards.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, it's really bad. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, I love Hohner. I really do. I think they're the best, and I'm really happy to be working with them. Shout out to Jesse and Jimmy, everybody there.
Nice. Yeah. I think I told about this before last time, but like just a few weeks ago, I recorded every single Hohner diatonic there is in Trossingen. So I got to know all of them, and like, yeah, just like there were some surprises in there too.
Yeah,
It's very true. Like the the MS series is really good. That was a surprise for me.
Yeah,
And
they're very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very moddable or customizable, if that
yeah,
makes any sense. Yeah.
but then also, I mean, it's still really good, but the Special 20 was kind of disappointing.
Hmm.
Maybe it was that particular one, but I would always be like, oh yeah, like just get a Special 20. You can't go wrong with that one. But there are definitely other options. Like, it's not too true
Yeah.
that you would always say, like, get a Special 20, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I said they're a good model for like a beginner or intermediate level person, because like you say, they play pretty good out of the box, and they're a pretty decent, substantial instrument, But yeah, I'm like you though. That's why I like the Rocket, because it's like, to me, it's like a deluxe version of a Special 20.
Yeah,
And I like having the vents on the side. I don't know why. I like the way it sounds and feels, and I also like the open back on them. But I also the whole size is really nice too. That's
it's
kind
very
of a
true. I feel like
yeah.
beginners can sound really good on a Rocket.
Yes. Yeah, and
And
yeah,
you
I
will
agree.
be like, oh wow, like how did you learn how to play so good this fast and hit the single notes and stuff, you know?
All right, everybody out there, you heard it. Buy a Rocket.
Yeah,
Go out and buy
definitely.
a Rocket today. Yeah. But yeah, no, I've always felt like and I'm mostly a wooden comb person too. I tend to go more for wooden combs mostly, but the Rocket is probably like the sweetest sounding plastic combed harp. It's one of the only ones I like to use. So besides the Big River every once in a while, but yeah.
Yeah. So when you're not performing, like, is there any music you're listening to people out there would be surprised about?
Hmm. Yeah, probably a lot of it actually. I'm trying to think of the most obscure person I listen to. Um,
Yeah,
I
or
listen,
like
no,
guilty pleasure music, like
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. I'm like, yeah, who do I don't normally like to admit that I like? Of course, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm a big Primus fan. I really like. Always loved Primus and Les Claypool and all those guys. I always like that kind of music. I like things that are kind of different and kind of weird, but cool, And I think that's why I like Primus, is that they're different and weird, but they're very funky and very percussive. I think that's why I like that too.
mm-hmm.
So, but I'm a big gospel music fan.
Okay.
Some of the greatest singing comes from gospel music. And Luciano Pavarotti is another huge influence of mine. I really,
Oh,
yeah, I just I'm amazed by his technique, and also I've learned a lot by singing. Learned a lot about singing just by watching and listening to him. But yeah, we'll have to come back to that one. I've got I've
yeah.
got a bunch of them. I like anything. I really do. I mean, I know, like I said, I'm mostly a blues guy, but I love jazz. I love soul. I love funk. I love New Orleans stuff, particularly, and New Orleans jazz. I really like New Orleans piano stuff. Professor Longhair, James Booker, Dr. John, all that kind of Alan Toussaint. That's some of the stuff I listen to mostly. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. How
Yeah.
about you? What is some random stuff you like to listen to?
Oh, like guilty pleasures or like stuff I
Pleasure.
actually
Yeah.
listen to?
Well, guilty pleasure. Let's go with that. Yeah.
Oh, that's actually harder. Wow, I gotta think. Uh, I think like this also just happens because like just like a 2000s when I listened to all the pop music and I just like you get like a good feeling from it,
Hmm.
like all the corny stuff from that time. You know?
Oh, you just made me think of one. Just when you said that. Yeah. Seal is another one I really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Gosh.
same kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the songs are like kind of cheesy, but God, what a singer though. He sings his ass off. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
But other than that, I mean, just because of music production, I listen to a lot of African and Arabic stuff, pop music. But that's not kind of the guilty pleasure of mine. I don't know. I like Robbie Williams.
Oh, cool.
He's not famous in the US. I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cause like his big band albums and like other stuff, like it was just like childhood stuff. Um, I like listening to a lot of country music too.
Me too. Yeah.
Even like the stuff that's like popular right now. I just wish that there would be more harmonica in it. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I wish there was more and also pedal steel seems to have kind of become less of a thing in country music. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but
Yeah.
I've just kind of noticed that recently in modern country. It's like, and to me that is, I love the pedal steel. I wish I could play it actually, but it's a very. Have you ever tried a pedal steel guitar?
No, but I also love the sound. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and it's one of the most complex instruments in the world. I mean, it's really, really intricate, but yeah, beautiful sound though. Very cool. And also very versatile instrument. Pretty interesting how that kind of came about. But well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that you like country. I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I agree. I wish there was more harmonica in it nowadays, but you know.
Very true. Yeah, there's so much good harmonica. There's some good harmonica on like Shania Twain songs.
Yeah.
Uh, I even like listening to some Shawn Mendes. Like I really don't care, you know?
I'm the same way. If it feels good and it's got soul and it comes from the heart, I'll check it out. Especially if it's got a good beat. If it's got a good groove, then I'll definitely listen to it. I know that sounds cheesy to say, but it's really true. It's like a good beat, it makes a good song. It's like, I don't think I've ever heard it's like, oh, this is a good song, but the beat sucks. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, rhythm is always first.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like we were talking about earlier. I've always been a big advocate for rhythm, because I'm a drummer, and also I think rhythm, for whatever reason, gets overlooked in harmonica playing. It's really strange, even
Oh
like,
yeah.
like a lot of just doing, and a lot of people don't want to do that because they're like, oh, well, that's too boring. I'm like, well, how do you think the rhythm guitar player feels? How do you think the bass player feels? They have to do that stuff all night long,
Yeah.
and you can't go for 24 bars. I mean, so, but yeah, I think it's like it gets overlooked a lot. And my favorite quote recently was from Joe Falisco. Said, "I've never heard about anybody being fired from a band because their timing was too good."
Yeah.
I love that. It's so true. It's like you can never have too good of timing or too good of rhythm. And yeah, I mean, always, that's something that every musician works on too. It's like, I know professional musicians have been playing like 50 years and they still work on their timing. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, there's
yeah,
more emotion in rhythm than people would think too.
yeah,
Like even if it's
definitely.
like micro timing melodies or whatever. And in the end, like also I remember the situation where like I mean, like these musicians or like as wind players, you often hear them say, or they know, yeah, I can just like play this one high note up there and hold it for a long time, and the audience will go crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, but in the end, that's not really it. Like the audience will go even more crazy if you do like something rhythmic that will make them move, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I'm more impressed by that than flashiness. I like a little bit of flash. But that's why I really like how Jason plays, because like he has a good mix of flash but also like real chops and technique and all that stuff. I'll say the same thing about Shane too. Shane's got a good amount of flash and flair in his playing, but he also he knows when to kind of take it back a little bit too. Same with you too, man. I mean, I've checked your stuff out, and you're the same way. It's like you know how to do a lot of stuff, but it's like you don't give it up right away all the time.
Oh yeah,
Which
definitely.
I think that's important. And anybody listening out there, especially younger harp players, just fast is cool. I know you want to play fast and stuff, but you want to serve the song first, and playing fast doesn't always serve the song, and just think of it like a conversation. If somebody's talking too fast, it kind of wears you out. It wears you out. It makes you mentally exhausted, and it's just not fun. So it's the same thing when I hear somebody playing really fast. I'm just kind of going like, whoa, okay, oh, and it's like, whoa, okay, if you just slowed that down just by like 10-20%, that would be so much better.
Yeah.
But
and
that's
I
just
always just try to be conscious about like what sounds good to my ears. Like there's a lot of stuff I can practice and I could do, but I don't like how it feels or how it sounds, so I don't do it, on stage or on a recording.
Yeah, and like you said too, it's like you want to pretend like you're out listening to yourself play, and it's like you want to like, okay, is this something I would want to hear? Is this something I would want to listen to? Yeah, definitely.
Shreve asks, "Sorry, who is Shane?"
Shane Sager, yes, he
He's
was
even
playing
in the chat. You should check him out. Yeah.
Yeah, introduce each other. Yeah, Shane. Yeah, he played with Sting for the last few years, and now he's doing his own thing. And he's a fantastic teacher and performer. He's somebody that you're going to be hearing a lot of in the next few years. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Hank, speaking of Paul DeLay, so you were a teenager when Paul DeLay was still with us. Did you meet or play with him?
I did, yes. I only met him one time. I would have liked to have met him more, but I opened up for him, though, probably about 4 times with my parents' band. There was this one blues festival kind of near here called the Wine and Blues Festival, and we played that many years, off and on. And a few times we got to open up for Paul DeLay, and it was really cool. And I remember the night I met him, he got a flat tire on the way to the gig. Mm-hmm. So he was about 45 minutes to an hour late. He was very late. And but then he got there and they still kept playing anyways, which was cool. But so he was kind of like, he was friendly and he was very nice, but you could tell he was kind of flustered, because from all that. But I remember I was probably about 15 when I first met him, 14 or 15. And I remember my dad and I went up to him. My dad's a big fan of his too. And he just said, Paul, it's so great to meet you. We're huge fans of yours. And he was like, oh, cool. Nice to meet you. And then he said, then he goes, this is my son, Hank. He's a big fan. He's an aspiring young harmonica player. Do you have any advice for him? And he goes, oh, it's a waste. It's like, great. I love it. Yeah. And then so like I kind of like we talked for like a tiny bit, but it was very brief, so I didn't really get to know him very well. But I would have loved to gotten to know him. But he's a huge influence on me, not just harp playing, but singing and songwriting also. I think he was one of the greatest songwriters of all time, hands down, But yeah.
All right, yeah. So now I got some rapid fire either or questions for you to kind of close this off.
Sure.
So super fast. Let's go. Diatonic or chromatic?
Oh, both.
Blues.
I don't know if that's an option or not, but both.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Blues or jazz?
Blues.
Live performance or studio recording?
Oh, probably live performance. Studio is pretty cool, though.
Amplified or acoustic harmonica?
Oh, probably both. Probably leaning more towards amplified, but
Okay.
yeah, both.
Fast licks or soulful bends?
Probably soulful bends, but I know I said some disparaging thing about playing fast earlier, but I like fast stuff too, to be honest. But yeah, if I had to choose one though, probably soulful bends. No.
Improvisation or structured solos?
Improvise.
Small clubs or big festivals?
Oh, that's well, probably big festivals, but small clubs are cool too. They're more intimate and there's a little, yeah, just more intimate.
Slide guitar or finger picking?
Oh, slide.
Minor blues or major blues?
Probably minor. Major blues is cool too, though.
Rock or country?
Probably more rock.
Marine band or special 20?
Marine band.
Train rhythm or ballads?
Oh, train. This is fun. I like these.
Vintage amps or modern amps?
Vintage.
Reverb or clean tone?
Oh, I like a little verb.
Practice alone or jam with others?
Both. I think both are important.
Okay, that's it.
That was cool. I like that. Yeah, that was good for me too, because my answers can get long-winded sometimes. So,
Oh, pedals or no pedals? Yeah, that's in the question by Pete in the chat.
oh yeah, I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to pedals. I like, I also because I use an amp that has effects on it. I use the Roland Cube. Yeah. So, but I tell you, I do have one pedal I've been really digging lately. Unplug it real quick. Now this guy, the El Pescadoro.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's really cool. It's actually 2-in-1. It's a reverb and a preamp. So it's kind of cool. The reverb though, just by turning on the reverb, and if you turn the effect down, you get a nice boost. And it gives you a nice boost on the bass end, and also gives you a little bit more grit, a little dirt, but very, very, very cool piece of equipment. Oh. Yeah. Oh, and then microphone I'm using is this guy. So sure, small bullet, but it's got the human element in it from Blows Me Away Productions.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can go on about gear for hours and hours.
Yeah. But that's wonderful. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of stuff.
Cool.
Is there like anything else you would share with the audience, or you want to play something?
Yeah, I guess I could play a little ditty of some sort. like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a cool groove.
Hey, thanks. Yeah. I was just improvising, I thought like we were talking about that groove earlier, so I was like, I'll just go with that. So, but
Yeah, everybody out there, if you still got any remaining questions in the chat, let us know now. But yeah, Hank, thank you so much for your time and the insights.
thank you. Thank you for having me, Konstantin. I appreciate it. And yeah, nice to meet you. And best of luck with the rest of the episodes. And, I hope you keep it going for a while, and yeah, good luck with that, with the Christmas album too. I hope you sell millions of copies of that.
Yeah, I don't know. If not with the Christmas album, like, what else,
Yeah, I don't know, country album or, country techno. There you go.
Yeah, what's like the best platform for people to check you out? Like, I put your website, your Facebook, your YouTube, your Spotify in the chat, or like in the description below.
Yeah, those are pretty much it. My as far as like posting my gigs and stuff, my website is the most up to date as far as that goes. And then yeah, YouTube and Facebook for my other things. Probably gonna get an Instagram here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay, yeah. So website is really good. Pete asks Hank, you gonna tour soon? So they can check out the website, right?
Yeah, working on it. Hopefully want to get down to like the California area, in the next year or so. And then, but hey, have harmonicas, we'll travel. If you got a place for me to play, not in the Northwest, I will, I'll make it work. I'll be happy to travel,
Also, D Church asks, blues blowout, ?
Oh, yeah. So on, I think I know what they're talking. Yeah, on February, I think it's February 16th. It's a Sunday, I believe. But I'll be opening the Mark Hummel Harmonica Blowout.
Oh yeah, cool.
Show. Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm very, very excited, very honored about it. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it's let me look at my calendar here real quick. February 16th. It's on a Sunday, and it's at the McDonald Theater here in Eugene. Dennis Grunling's on there, Nick Moss, Curtis Salgado, Sweet Marta, and then there might be one other person, I'm not sure. Well, Mark Hummel, of course, but yeah, so that's going on. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next one. See you next year, I guess.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Konstantin. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
My lady, you know me, no give up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, forever. Oh baby, where we they go? Now forward ever, backward never. Them they pray make we run down never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know. They never know. Go too rough, so you know, girl, I be feeling this love. Even when I'm down, you wanna waiting this up. It's not blessing, I'ma no be luck. Baby, nobody feel day like you. I say nobody feel make me feel the way you do. I'ma get that low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you the best I know. Our next move, they never know. They never know. My lady, you know me no forgive up on you never. Wanna be with you forever, 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 forever. Oh baby, where we they go now forward and far backward never. Them they pray make we run down never, 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 never. I'ma get that low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never know. Money go check low. Girl, you're the best I know. Our next move they never know, they never